And Walter Mondale, who served as US Vice President under Jimmy Carter, has died at the age of 93. It's been announced that former US Vice President Walter Mondale has died at the age of 93. He served under Jimmy Carter between 1977 and 1981. He went on to run as a presidential candidate in 1984, but lost to Ronald Reagan. Well, let's speak now to our North America correspondent, Peter Bowes. Hi, Peter. So how do you think he will be remembered?
He will be remembered, is being remembered as a statesman who was high-principled, who had a very long career in American politics. Before becoming vice president, he served in the US Senate, representing his home state of Minnesota. He'd been a lawyer in Minneapolis, a city which, of course, is very much in the news today because of the trial of Derek Chauvin. And he served in that role in the Senate for some 12 years. I think probably his biggest achievement was the passing of the Fair Housing Act. He campaigned for an act and was really central to getting it passed through the Senate that banned discrimination on the basis of race and religion and sex. But then he was, as you say, elected to the White House with Jimmy Carter, the election in 1976. And as vice president, that's really where he made his mark. He elevated that role like no other vice president. I think it's quite well known that vice presidents, really the job is without portfolio, and it's down to the individual to make the job what they can and make the best of it. He really elevated it in terms of importance, and in many respects was more experienced in Washington politics than Jimmy Carter. So the two of them worked very closely together. He was the first vice president with an office in the West Wing at the White House, and he played a key role in policy, especially foreign policy in the Middle East. But it was to be relatively short-lived for both of them, just a single term in the White House. Then came along the juggernaut that was Ronald Reagan, who took over as president, and you might think, well, that would be the end of Walter Mondale's national career, but it wasn't to be. He came back in 1984. He stood for his party, challenged Ronald Reagan, did not do very well. In fact, he did very badly. Reagan really swept back into power, and Mondale only managed to win one state. He managed to win Minnesota. But he did do one thing that is still being remembered today, and that is that he had a woman as his running mate, Geraldine Ferraro. He chose the congresswoman at the time, and that was a decision that is still being talked about today.